Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are completely tearing down one of the most stubborn myths in the entire business world. You know the one. The idea that you absolutely need a massive pile of cash, a rich uncle, or some lucky break with a venture capital firm just to get a business off the ground. Well, actually, scratch that. The reality is radically different. We've got incredible case studies, labor statistics, and insights from major financial institutions to back this up. We're going to look at the exact playbook for building a highly lucrative business with almost zero upfront capital.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the low capital revolution, how to profit from quote-unquote boring chores, and the digital hustle frontier. Then we'll talk about bootstrapping your business, why you need to beware of the dropshipping mirage, and finally, executing your master plan.
Section 1. The low capital revolution. Start for $0.
So I really want you to ask yourself a question. What if your next business cost literally $0 to start? Or, maybe 50 bucks. A lot of people wait around for the perfect moment. They think they need a bank loan or some crazy crypto windfall to begin, but the truth is, you just don't. Your own brain power, a little bit of hustle, and the stuff you probably already have lying around, like a smartphone or a laptop, that is literally all it takes to get in the game today.
Section 2. Profiting from boring chores. Simple service businesses.
Let's pivot into our first massive opportunity area. We're going to compare some incredibly mundane, everyday household tasks with, quite frankly, some eye-popping revenue numbers. $125,000. That is monthly revenue, folks. This comes from Marcus. He's a 24-year-old in Washington with no college degree who started a super simple lawn care business. Think about it. Every home has a lawn, nobody actually wants to deal with it, and Marcus just stepped right into that gap. He started mowing and edging residential lawns on weekly recurring contracts, and today, he's running 2 locations pulling in that massive 125 grand figure every single month. No way, right?
But here's what brilliantly illustrates the magic of this model. Compare that massive revenue to this absolutely tiny startup cost, $310. That is roughly the maximum you would need to start a lawn care business. We're talking maybe 150 bucks for a used mower, 80 for a string trimmer, 50 for fuel, and 30 bucks for some flyers. And honestly, if you just borrow a mower from a neighbor to grab your first few clients, your startup cost is basically zero. It's a total game changer. Or, take Anjali Sachdeva's story. She was a 25-year-old corporate risk analyst. She had the steady paycheck, the stable desk job, the whole shebang. But she absolutely hated it. So she got certified as a fitness instructor. Fast forward to when she went full-time, training clients one-on-one in parks in their homes. She was pulling in $6,000 to $7,000 a month. As she told CNBC, she's happier and making way more money than she ever did in corporate America.
Let's break down the math a bit here, because these boring service industries are absolute gold mines. Just look at the professional organizing row. Vanessa Garcia was working 3 different jobs just to avoid eviction. She started organizing closets on TaskRabbit as a side hustle. Her costs? Maybe 20 bucks for business cards and 19 for a basic website. So $39 total. Today, she scaled that to $9,100 a month. Or check out the mobile notary idea. Roseanne from California was furloughed during COVID. With zero experience and about 110 bucks for state apps and a stamp, she made 10 grand in a single month. And all she was doing was verifying signatures on real estate and legal documents. Just incredible.
Section 3. The digital hustle frontier. Only a laptop required.
Now, for the digital nomads, the tech-savvy folks, and those of us who just want to operate entirely behind a screen, the opportunities are just as huge. According to Business Plan Vault, there are these incredibly modern models absolutely thriving right now where your primary capital is literally just a laptop and your brain. You could offer AI prompt engineering because businesses know they need AI but have no idea how to actually talk to it. You could set up Notion workspaces for unorganized teams and charge $500 to $2,000 a pop. You could run a content repurposing service where you slice up one corporate podcast into 20 social media clips. Or, launch a highly niched print-on-demand store or sell digital templates that you build once and sell infinitely. To really bring these digital concepts to life, let's look at Emily Audio Sutton. She launched a niche print-on-demand shop on Etsy back in December 2022. And as her story goes, she literally started this sitting on her couch watching Real Housewives. She just designed the products, think t-shirts and candles, and a manufacturer printed and shipped them whenever someone actually bought one. Well, that couch-bound hustle wiped out her entire $20,000 student loan balance, and her shop recently crossed a staggering $800,000 in total sales. For sure, not bad for watching TV on the sofa.
Section 4. Bootstrapping your business. Financial strategy.
Okay, so it is one thing to have a great low-cost idea, but it's another to actually manage it financially. Let's look at some really solid guidance from JP Morgan on how to do exactly this. They've noted a rising trend among founders called seed strapping. Basically, this is where you raise one single small round of early funding or strictly use your own savings, and then completely turn off the fundraising tap. From that exact moment on, you focus entirely on building a sustainable, positive cash flow business. The brilliance here is that it totally protects you from endless funding cycles and keeps your ownership totally intact.
So the crucial point here is weighing those pros and cons. The pros of bootstrapping are absolutely beautiful. You maintain 100% control, you have zero equity dilution, which means you own the whole pie. And the lack of extra cash forces you to have highly disciplined, super strong unit economics. But the cons are very real. Your growth will be slower. You're going to face severe resource constraints. And since you are wearing every single hat in the company, often while working a normal day job, the risk of missing market timing and hitting severe founder burnout is incredibly high. You really have to balance that growth with financial stability.
Section 5. Beware the dropshipping mirage. Avoid hidden traps.
All right, now we need to deliver a necessary dose of reality. When people hear the phrase low-capital online business, dropshipping is usually the very first thing that pops into their heads. So dropshipping is a retail model where you sell a product, but you don't actually keep any inventory. When a customer orders, you pass the details over to a third party, usually a wholesaler in China, who ships it directly to the buyer. On paper, it sounds completely flawless, right? In fact, Amazon used this exact model in its early days so they could offer millions of books without warehousing them all.
But in today's landscape, it is fraught with hidden traps. Investigations by Wikipedia, BuzzFeed, and the Gimlet Media podcast have shown that the modern dropshipping space is full of scammers. You're often dealing with middlemen who pose as true wholesalers. They eat up your margins, leaving you with what's called micro-shipping profit illusions, where you're literally making pennies per sale. Plus, there are massive supply chain nightmares, like customers receiving completely wrong or defective items. And guess who has to process those super expensive returns and issue refunds? Yep, you do. The big takeaway here? Low capital does not mean zero risk.
Section 6. Executing your master plan. Framework for success.
So how do you actually take your $0 idea and turn it into a reality safely and structurally? You need a framework. Something like this simple business plan template from Smartsheet. It doesn't need to be 50 pages long. Just map out 3 core steps. Step 1, overview and team structure. Who is running this and what's the ultimate goal? Step 2, market analysis. Clearly define the exact problem you're solving and identify your specific target market. And Step 3, execution. Write down exactly what your product or service is and outline a concrete sales and marketing plan. JP Morgan advises that your absolute top priority right out of the gate should be securing paying customers because their feedback is literally the most valuable data you will ever get.
Which leads us perfectly to a provocative question I want to leave you with today. What is stopping you from launching your $0 business today? We've seen the data. We've looked at the real-world case studies of people completely changing their financial destinies with nothing but a used lawnmower or a basic internet connection. The barrier to entry has quite literally never been lower. So pick an idea, draft a simple plan, and take that first step. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you build.